Hey guys, it's me, 𝒬𝒡inity Plays. Welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm 𝒬𝒡inity, aka Sarah, and I make aesthetically pleasing videos for you to enjoy and me to enjoy creating. So today, this is episode 2 of my save file Brimhaven, and I am building the founder's house today. And the inspiration for this was actually the fake house that is next door. I wanted to match the architect style that this area of Willow Creek, aka Brimhaven, actually is in, and I'm really happy with the way that this build turned out. However, it is just the building of the actual structure, no furnishings nor landscaping other than some low-lying under plants, because this build took me absolutely forever to do, because I wanted it to feel and look a certain way. Because one thing for me about save files, yes, the builds look good in game, but how do they look on the map? And that was the biggest thing for me, was making sure that these builds kind of full circle bring in the vibe of what I want Brimhaven to look like. So I really took my time and put some extra thought into how I wanted the layout of this house to look, as well as it from a different point of view that I feel like people don't really appreciate. So right now you see me here working on the porches, and this house has many porches, and that's honestly because during this Queen Anne style, colonial first American homes, which all of base game is in the colonial style, tons of wraparound porches and views to see the water and stuff. It's kind of known for the Queen Anne style, the columns and just the way that the roofing is and the texturings and the panels. And that's kind of my thought process with this build, was trying to capture something that felt kind of historically correct. And as you can see, that's the building that I'm kind of mirroring it off of, except it has my own little twist to it, because of course I can't build something exactly to the way that somebody can without changing it even a little bit to my personal preference. And honestly, right here you will see me so many times come back and fix this front roof, because this is 100% unedited footage of me literally struggling with Sims 4 roofing. It is absolutely horrendous. I literally cannot stress enough how stressful trying to figure out how I wanted the front of this house to look was for me. But eventually I hammered down and I got it looking the way that I wanted to. I picked a wallpaper that I wouldn't necessarily use, that I think really kind of captured the image that I had in my head of what I wanted this build to look like. And I think it's kind of nice to see a little less modernized builds and something more not in my comfort style either. Queen Anne style is definitely not something that I build in. I'm more of a modern dream home decorator person, as I've previously spoken about before. But to kind of tap into something that's not really my style and put my light styles onto it was really fun for me. And I'm trying to adventure out from what I'm doing to make these builds feel unique and kind of accurate. Like I said, historically accurate. This build honestly took way longer than it should have, and for me to not have the fully furnished part in this video is kind of crazy, but that makes you come back for more, because in the next episode I do plan on furnishing the build as well as working on lore in that video as well, and finally getting pictures of our heirs and writing books and memoirs about them, and kind of working on that layer of lore I want to add to the save file, because in order for those buildings that I'm gonna future build come about, we need good lore on how they got there, stuff like that, places that make it feel like, okay, this place is actually a story in The Sims for people to play with. And I've thought seriously about modding and CC that I want to use in this save file, and to be honest, I do see myself using little CC, but CC that is quite more accented CC than it is main features of the build. Like, for example, in the first episode, the only piece of CC I used in that entire build was a bus stop sign from River Sheen that makes functional, like, travel through a bus sign. You click it and you can travel, as well as I think like 2 potted plants on the outside that added that feature of kind of recreational modernness that I wanted, that somebody has come in and kind of renovated this town hall space. So other than that, it's not going to be like CC, like I'm not going to use CC windows and doors on main builds. Like, you'll see this entire build is on the outside is completely packs and the Sims 4 base game. And that is another thing I plan on with the save file. This save file is not going to be base game only. It's going to be a majority of packs, because that's, you know, how I play, and I want to give the save file its full feature of abilities that I know it's capable of, and using less resources, I won't be able to do that. And then as for mods, I might use certain venue mods or something to add more realism and more building options and places for your Sims to travel to in the save file. As well as, you know, MC Command Center to assign new NPC jobs, etc., etc. And I just wanted that to be clear. Right now in the build, though, back to the build, you can see that we've kind of figured out the layout. And I decided to go with this brick that you're seeing, except I changed it to a darker color towards the end, because once I added the windows and kind of perfected everything with the build, I did not like the way that it looked. And majority of this build is base game, because like I mentioned before, base game is built in that Queen Anne style, because most of Willow Creek is built that way. And then, you know, you get the modern bit from Oasis, and New Crest is kind of whatever, you putting the 2 things from those worlds together. So a lot of Willow Creek is going to be original colonial style homes. Now, I don't plan for the entire thing to be like that, because I kind of want, like I said, a modern feel to a renovated historical site. So of course the founder's home is going to be preserved, because this is a place where the founders lived. This is the first settlement of Brimhaven, so they get the historically accurate, you know, colonial style home. But on some parts of Brimhaven, I want it to be more lower class, kind of Life is Strange builds for certain clans or, you know, werewolf characters in the game. So for the werewolves, I was thinking typically where the starter homes are, because I like the idea of that kind of being the structure of Brimhaven. And then, you know, the vampires kind of control the higher side of Brimhaven, so where the historical house is, and then, like, you know, kind of the main populated original French Quarter area. So where all of the 𝒕𝒉𝒊𝒔 lots are is where I'm gonna put the French Quarter. So kind of that area is going to be more towards the vampires, and then the Witch Coven will be the area where Bob and Eliza Pancakes normally are. And then there's the 2 houses that the Spencer Kim Lewis house, and then Oakenstead, that I kind of want to make either a mayor's home, a mayoral mansion, or citizens, like just normal people, in a place for maybe a sim to start with, to kind of start the lore and things like that. So there's a lot jam-packed into a save file that a lot of people don't get to see. So I thought it'd be fun to take you on my adventure, just in case you're thinking about starting one. For the save file for all my blank worlds, I use the simply save blank save file. It comes with no townies, nothing. It's completely empty. All the residential lots have all the worlds, exactly what I needed, because that is my town, here you go, goal. We start with Brimhaven, and then we'll go to another town name, and that'll be Oasis Springs, and then so on and so forth. And eventually it'll be a completed save file of the entire Sims 4 worlds, which is a long ways away, but that is the goal. I keep getting diverted from the the actual building build. But as you can see, we've kind of figured out a floor plan and decided where the stairs I wanted to go. I definitely thought there would be a broad staircase. Now, this is just, you know, original formatting layout, kind of what I want the area to look like. That doesn't necessarily mean that when in the next episode that we go to decorate, this floor plan will necessarily be the same, because I might come back before the video and be like, I don't really like this and I want to do this, and change it, because that's how I am. So no promises that the staircase stays in the middle, but it kind of, the image that I wanted was that big grand foyer, so I put the staircase there. And the downstairs is divided into a couple main parts. You have the kitchen, the living room, and then the entryway, and that is literally it. And then upstairs, it's a bit tight for how big the building looks, but it's mostly roofing and things like that that kind of make it look bigger than it actually is, and the wall, the tall wall heights. So here is where I decided I no longer liked that brick shade, and I decided to go with a darker one, which might again end up changing, because I wanted to use the black roof because that felt very accurate for that time period, and I did like the way that it looked in that moment. So, you know, things can change. As for the upstairs floor plan, it is a 3-bedroom because there's only going to be 3 Sims currently living here, and then unfortunately, once I kill them off for storyline's sake, this will be a historically preserved site and will be changed into a museum. The only reason that I am building it on a residential lot now is so that I can move them in. I can kind of make their home feel very personal to them, put little nooks and things around that these Sims have, you know, kind of collected. Then with MC Command Center, unfortunately, their life comes to an end and they end up in the graveyard that we built in episode 1. So, and then this house will be turned into a museum lot, and or like maybe a botanical garden or something, who knows where it goes, so that it can be historically accurate. And then we'll start building on to new houses. Now, right now you see me struggling with deciding if I wanted to take these hipped roofs and bring them around the entire house. I decided that I didn't like the way it looked, so I got rid of everything except the pieces that were the actual wrap around porch. And you'll see here that I took everything away except those 2 pieces. I even thought, nah, I won't do this side, and then I just ended up liking the way it looked. Again, this is something that could definitely change, but I think with the preset on, it kind of gives the vibe of what I'm going for, because this preset is kind of the inspiration. However, at the end of this video, there are no screenshots because the build is not finished yet, and it won't be available on the gallery until it is completed. But we are rounding the corner towards the end of the video, and I really hope you enjoyed this quick little speed build of this manor home for our future founders. If you'd like to stay tuned so you can know about what comes next for Brimhaven's save file, I'd say subscribe down below and turn on post notifications. I also say if you like The Sims, you should do that as well, because I have plenty of content for everyone and everything. Yeah, that's my little promo I'm gonna plug. But anyway, right now we're working on landscaping, and this is literally the last touches that I put to the house, where these low-lying flower patches, and I put in trees because I wanted to kind of get a little bit, not a lot, of what I plan to do landscaping wise here, kind of down for a foundational look. And by the time I'm done, there'll be plenty of flowers and trees and things like that. And I'm happy with the way that the structure turned out. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.